A very warm good morning to you, our Camnet TV viewers, and welcome to another edition of the Breakfast Show. Today, 11th April 2023. It is a wonderful morning, and for many people out there that actually are coming from the long weekend, the 4 days long holiday, and I hope you are ready to work, no hangovers, nothing like that. So today is a very good day. Let's wake up and be active. And to present today's Breakfast Show, I am Zipporah Mshala, joined by my beautiful colleague Miriam Kaimba. Good morning, Miriam.
Good morning, Zippo. How are you?
I'm fine. I hope you're not one of those people who are affected by the long weekend.
I was affected, but apparently I was working.
Yeah.
So I can't say that it had so much effect on me, but yeah, we are good that we are back to our normal schedule once again.
And I think it's actually good to be working, like on such times, people engage themselves in many vices, illicit vices. People drink beer, do this and that. At the end of the day, they have, these accidents. But I think it's actually good to keep yourself productive during such periods.
Yeah, but one thing I love the most is that, RATS, the road transport agents, was on the ground during this 4 days, 4D, to ensure that the safety and we avoid this unnecessary accident.
I just hope I just hope we're not going to have any statistics from the police.
If we recorded, then we didn't record a lot of accidents. Yeah.
What are we expecting today, Miriam?
Anyway, so Zipporah, you should understand that for quite some time now we have been having issues of mealie meal prices. We have a lot of stakeholders calling on government, saying that the United Party for National Development has failed to govern this country because of the issue of the price of mealie meal. We currently have a shortage, and the cost is very high. I think some would say no, the dollar, the maize and stuff, they're all these phenomena. But anyway, we'll be joined in studio later on at 8 by Small Scale Farmers Development Agency Executive Director, Mr. Boyd Momboy, who's going to help us, discuss this issue in details and the way forward on how we can resolve this as a country. Yeah, but anyway, we just read about now, we'll be looking at trending issues. We know that a lot of things are happening in our society, talking about the violence that occurred in Serenge. We talk about, there's actually a story of a young man aged 23 years old who is mentally disturbed and he killed his mother. That was last week. So yeah, we'll also look at the issue of the need to take mental health very serious. But right about now, we'll just go direct into our morning boost so that we have some exercise as we get to run for the day. hope you enjoyed that morning exercise. Quite interesting and very, very important to ensure that you exercise every single day in the morning. Make it a habit, please. I am begging, make it a habit. Let it be one of the things that you should be waking up in the morning and look forward to, because this is very beneficial to your health. Anyway, right about now, we go direct into our healthy corner and just see what the doctors have for us this morning.
Hi, good morning and welcome to the Health Corner here on the Breakfast Show. I am Dr. Nakubia Namfaya. So this week we are talking about a very interesting topic. We are talking about tuberculosis, and we really want to understand what are some of the causes of tuberculosis, or what are some of the risk factors of tuberculosis, and also some of the symptoms, so that we can be able to recognize the symptoms and seek treatment early. And it's important for you to know what type of TB that you have, so that you can know the duration or the time period in which to treat that TB, because there's a way that TB is treated depending on which part of the body is affected, and also depending on whether it's a new condition or a condition or a relapse that is occurring. So yesterday we talked about what is TB, and we say that TB is an infection that is caused by a bacteria called Mycobacterium tuberculosis. And so this bacteria can be transmitted from person to person when you inhale aerosols from the environment that are infected with TB. So today we want to know what are some of the risk factors of TB. Who are the people who are at risk of having this infection? So the number one risk factor is people who have a relative or who are staying with somebody who has TB. So if you are staying with someone with TB, you are at a high risk of having this infection. Or if you've come in contact with somebody who has had TB, especially in places that are very crowded. So crowded places where you can't come in contact with someone who has TB and you don't even know. Sometimes you might know that this person has TB. Sometimes you might not know. So overcrowded places have a high risk of transmission for TB. And like I said, people who are living with somebody in the house who has TB are also at a high risk. And the other risk is that people who are staying with somebody who has multi-drug resistant TB. So if the person that you're staying with has multi-drug resistant TB or MDR TB, the risk of you getting the TB is very high, because it's more transmissible, because it's more transmitted to other people who do not have TB. The other risk factors are people who have HIV. So if you are a person who has HIV, try by all means to avoid being in contact with people who have TB, and try by all means to just protect yourself. Whether you are when you're going out, try to wear a mask all the time, just to prevent yourself from getting some of these infections, because people who have HIV are at higher risk of getting opportunistic infections from the environment, whether it's TB or any other conditions. Then people who are also at risk are those who have who abuse drugs, especially people who abuse IV medications. So if you are a drug abuser, you are at a high risk of having tuberculosis. People who also have diabetes are also at risk of having tuberculosis, because they have immunosuppression. So their immune system is not very strong, and so they are not able to fight infections very well. So they are at risk of having tuberculosis as well. People who take alcohol, people who smoke are also increasing their risk of getting tuberculosis. The other risk factors are people who have cancer of the head and the neck. So if you have a cancer, whether it's in the brain or the head or in the neck, you are also at risk of having TB, you can easily get this TB from the environment. Then children as well can also get TB, and they are at high risk, especially children who are below the age of 5 years old. Their risk of getting TB is very high, and this is why people or children who are below 1 month of age are advised to get the BCG vaccine that can help to prevent them from getting this TB. And so if you have a baby, or if you are pregnant and planning to have a baby, make sure that your child gets the BCG vaccine so that they can be protected from getting this TB before the age of 5. So we want our children to be safe, because people or children who are below the age of 5 are at higher risk of having or contacting this TB from the environment. So these are some of the risk factors of people that can easily get TB. And so if you have any of these risk factors, make sure that you check yourself and try to eliminate some of them that you can. So if you are diabetic, make sure you are taking your medications and adhering to your medications to be able to control the diabetes that you have, so that your immune system is boosted. And if you are HIV positive and you're on medication, try as much as possible to adhere to the medications so that you can improve your CD4 count and improve your immune system. People who take alcohol and smoking, make sure that you try to stop smoking, because that will increase your chances of getting TB. So I do hope you have learned something today. Today we're talking about some of the risk factors of TB, and we say that people who live in overcrowded places, or people who are staying with somebody who has TB, are at high risk of contacting this TB from the people that they are staying with. The people who are HIV positive or who have diabetes can also get this TB very easily because of the immunosuppression. Then people who take alcohol, abuse drugs, and who smoke are also at risk of having this infection. Then children below the age of 5 can also get this infection because of their reduced immune system. So make sure you watch again tomorrow when we'll be talking about the signs and symptoms. We want you to know exactly how you can be able to tell that you are having TB. And if you missed any other episodes on the Health Corner here on the Breakfast Show, you can also catch up on my YouTube channel, which is Dr. Nakubena Mfaya on YouTube. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Stay healthy and stay blessed.
Quite interesting there. I hope we learned one or two things from the doctor, and it is very important to always put things into practice, because you can hear, but as long as you do not put to practice, it's not going to be helpful to you in any way. Thank you there to the doctor for that insightful discussion. Just now we take a look at the money market to see how our kwacha is faring against major international convertibles. We have the Great British Pound buying at 24 kwacha 17 ngwe, selling at 24 kwacha 65 ngwe. The United States dollar buying at 19 kwacha 46 ngwe, selling at 19 kwacha 85 ngwe. The euro selling at 21 kwacha 21 ngwe, selling at 21 kwacha 62 ngwe. The South African rand buying at 1 kwacha 07 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 09 ngwe. And on our US dollar there, it seems to be quickly racing back to the 20 kwacha mark. I'm sure you heard what our economist said last week, saying it is artificial. But of course, we're hoping to see it, done permanently.
I've seen some other bureaus in town, Zipo, the United States dollar, one United States dollar is trading at 18 kwacha somewhere there. Yeah.
Anyway, for those people with dollars, it's bad news. Those who've been holding on to the dollar, saying I'll change whenever when it's just 30 kwacha so that I have this and that, it's bad news for you.
Anyway, moving forward, let's go direct into zooming some of the stories that we had Yesterday you did a story in Kasupe where some farmers mostly were complaining and calling on relevant authority to quickly construct the bridge that was washed away with some floods. Maybe just speed us up to what the story is exactly about before we go direct into playing it.
Oh yeah, so the residents there are complaining about, a number of bridges were washed away, just like in many parts of the country. So they're saying this left them stranded. The place even has, these dilapidated roads that are more like ditches. And so they're saying bus drivers are charging, double the normal bus fare to get to where they're going. They're taking advantage of the prevailing situation. So they're saying they'd like to see roads, done, the bridges put up using the Constituency Development Fund before the next rain season, not the next rain season comes and people start, panicking as if all this time they did not know that the rain season is coming.
And for others, it might be a disaster for them, a calamity, damage, but for the drivers, they're taking advantage and opportunity, not really an advantage.
Maybe also they look at the damage done to their vehicles.
Exactly. That's an opportunity they are looking at again.
Double the opportunity. Otherwise, they're not going there anyway. So let us take a look at that story from Kasupe Ward in Chilanga District. The 2022-2023 rain season can be described as one of the periods that Zambia experienced the harsh realities of climate change, as most parts of the country were cut off from markets, schools, health centers, and other key facilities after some bridges were washed away and roads flooded. This is Kawaya compound in Kasupe Ward of Chilanga District, one of the areas that is still experiencing the negative effect of washed away bridges, leaving farmers here with no option but to pass through dilapidated roads that can be described as more of ditches than roads. The residents here have highlighted their plight, stating that majority of them are farmers and are therefore finding it difficult to take their produce to the market due to the lack of bridges and the poor state of most roads.
kuoda tutogulisa tukita kupita kubuza drama ikuru kutugulise kuno nkala monga wenda kagulisira kutali ndo mchukua jalo odija ndio vuto ya miti na ikuru
kumkalangana na chest question kuno abintu bavuta langana ni malodi petiendera mamoto kanyangati ya fapo so as a result at least since hapa kwa kugira ko bantu bako bati baona na vedistika so better matiranganira ko shema road bridge yonse jama moto kasiya enda bwino moto kafinga kufa se kuno ndei.
Others explain that the state of the roads has also doubled the basic bus fare, explaining that bus drivers deny commuters who are not willing to pay double the normal bus fare.
Mama bridge waike konzeru ma bridge itavutika abantu siwaenda mabasi analeka noenda mwe anaendera mu rain season na manja up to this time sibafuna kukonza.
They are now calling for development in the community with an emphasis on the reconstruction of washed away bridges before the next rain season using the Constituency Development Fund CDF. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Chilanga District. Quite a sad situation there. I'm sure you've seen the roads. There are more of ditches than roads, and it is very, very difficult, and many vehicles are getting damaged. And so really, if we're going to develop the country, Miriam, by 2030, I think we need to ensure that there's eco development. And this is where the Constituency Development Fund comes in, regardless of the area of the country, whether it's in a far-flung area. We have this ability, to bring this desired development. That's
the more reason why we have even seen the current government increasing the CDF to 28 million now, so that, it can achieve its intended purpose and bring development in all sectors and leave no one behind. But anyway, talking about bad road networks, Zipporah, we did see a story yesterday done by Prudence Chota in Kalikiliki compound where, Kalikiliki, Mtendere, Kalikiliki, I really do not know the difference.
But PHI, they're more like merged.
Yeah, I really don't know the difference. There. Yeah. So, but we have seen, like some good initiative which have come on board, because definitely when you talk about Kalikiliki, the roads are indeed bad. And if it's rain season, it's worse. So now we did see yesterday you know, some road constructions being now, they have commenced. They're trying to do one or two things to ensure that they bring good road network in that area. Let's just get direct into playing that story, and we'll continue with our discussion when we come back.
A man of Kalikiliki compound in Lusaka, suspected to be of foreign origin, has escaped unhurt from this makeshift store he was sleeping in the early hours of Monday after an overspeeding vehicle slammed into the store. This comes in the wake of the Zambia National Service, who have moved on site to construct this Niza road, which had been impassable for many years. The development to have the road worked on has excited the residents of the area, including the drivers, who have now taken advantage of the situation to overspeed on the incomplete road.
Appreciate pali road vakonza but vivastika usiku wa mene mlandu wa mamps mlibi so motoka yaduzinga control yabomenya mu shop mwezi magona muntu so tupempako mamps ngayanga bwere fast tizamikira.
Other residents are happy to finally see a road such as this one being done under CDF.
Wino maningi parodi Niza lodi ene bazedene sorona sevenza konse bisetsenzera pabine pa so wakalbeno series zakapanga mchemusha monga mamino anapangira konse kudawo
load yoke load yenzo nongeka maningi but atitandiza at least atikonzerako load evatandiza pange kwa genya at least ngoma makamaka road babunga mani pabnya babunga kwa pani babunga ko muntu babunga ko na imbo babunga ko shop baluvana maningi ma driver acha appreciate.
Others have also challenged the contractor, who in this case is ZNS, to ensure that they erect big drainages which will allow for water to flow, adding that their houses are ever submerged during the rain season. And area councillor Shadrack Mwanza says taxi drivers were refusing to come to the area because of the poor states of the road, and says he is happy to see the area benefit from the 1.6 million kwacha that was allocated for the construction of roads in Munali constituency under the 2022 CDF projects.
Being the people that never used to come through our ward to do business, to do this and that. We'll give an example of Yango or maybe Ulendo. They never used to reach there. But at least transportation is easing up. I'll give an example where we have a patient who is very sick, very serious. Motorists never used to reach where clients are. They used to refuse. Why? Because of the poor road network. But this time around, ZNS is working on the roads and people are able to pass. I think it's a big plus for me as the area councillor.
The joy of seeing this road worked on has extended to children who could not hide their excitement. Prudence Chota reporting for Camnet TV News.
Quite interesting. We are glad that the Zambia National Service has come on board, to ensure that the road is now passable and people can easily make their movement. It's quite sad if you did visit that area. Let's talk about last year and the previous years. The road was really bad, and when it comes to rain season, you really can't pass. But right about now, we have heard that such as new drivers in towns, those who do Yango, Ulendo, and online taxi business, can easily now take their client to those locations, because now they can't even worry about their vehicles getting damaged and so on.
That's development.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, anyway, that's a good move. What else do you have among the headlines?
Yeah. Anyway, one of the other stories that you did on market funding, maybe you can just speed us up what the story is about. Oh yeah,
that was from the Lusaka District Cooperative Union, where they're just talking about empowerment. So they're saying people should not just depend on the Constituency Development Fund, the cooperative funding, But they're saying, you know, there are many other available funding, sources of funding. So, for example, they're saying they've come up with marketeer booster loans for marketeers here within Lusaka. And they're calling on them to take advantage of these opportunities. And really, this will also lead to, you know, mass employment creation, because when these market traders have their businesses boosted, they're going to expand, grow bigger, we're going to have more people employed. So I think that is actually a good move. And talking about the marketeer booster loans, we did see the president last year launching this, and I must say that, you know, people are appreciating this same initiative. I think we should actually, you know, pass through some markets and just find out how has it helped them really. Yeah. Like how have their lives improved with the, you know, the booster loans that they got. Exactly. We don't want to see marketeers getting loans and, you know, investing the money into something else for something that they didn't even intend to invest in. But if they're investing in their business and it's bringing more, you know, growth to their business, this is something good that we should appreciate. Yeah. Let's just take a look at that clip from the union.
The marketeer booster loan here in Lusaka, as the Lusaka Union of Marketeers, we benefited not less than 15 million kwacha, and our members are quite happy. And this does not come because they were supposed to get, but because of the proper management and peaceful and atmosphere that are in the markets. It was very easy and possible for the CEC to find our members. Currently, we have also acquired some more money that we are just giving cooperative markets in Lusaka and also Nakonde under the institution called Zambia Entrepreneur Hub. So what I want to tell the nation, and especially in Lusaka, that allow the cooperatives to operate the way the president has directed, so that our members, they benefit. We are very, very, very happy in Lusaka. The marketeers are happy because for the first time we are receiving these monies without any fights, and the business is being supported and is being boosted. I think if we are to work like this in the next 1 year or so, the cooperative markets will be the largest contributor in terms of employment in Lusaka.
Quite interesting. We hope that at the end of this year, Zipporah, come next year, 2024, and 5 years from now, we'll see this project, you know, yielding the results that we want to see, and seeing more marketeers across the country, not only in Lusaka, but across the country, benefit from these marketeers booster loans. Yeah. Definitely, quite interesting. And just now, Miriam, we move to our next segment. You know, the hot topic right now in the country, the issue of mealie meal. You know, some have argued that the issue of mealie meal is being politicized. And just yesterday, we also saw another issue, which was allegedly later, you know, taken down. I don't know, but anyway, from a credible media institution where we're told that the chicken feed has run out. So I don't know. Some people are saying that. When you talk about the issue of mealie meal, people are saying this is politically engineered. How? We do not know. We do not know. But they're saying it is politically engineered. So the other time I was talking to someone, an NGO from the Copper Bill, that's a governance and development advocates, where they're calling for investigations into the whole issue. They're saying from the point of, you know, sale from the Food Reserve Agency, they should monitor how where the maize is going, you know, from the point of it being sold to the millers, to the point of production. Like they're calling for investigations to follow the whole chain of the mealie meal to find out like where are we going wrong as a country. Because we're being told by the Food Reserve Agency that we have more than enough stock, but look at the situation on the ground, it is different. So you know that those things, some are saying that it's politically engineered, some are saying no, this and that. Anyway, it's just a complicated issue, but do call us, do participate in the topic by calling us on the numbers that are scrolling on your screen, or leave us a message on Facebook. What is your take on the mealie meal crisis in the country? And we'll shortly be joined by SAFADA Executive Director, Mr. Boyd Mobwe, to help us discuss alternatives, you know, to solving this current crisis and avoid such future calamities. So just now, take a look at a story that we did on Saturday from the Leadership Movement Party, where they talked about mealie meal. Let's take a look. The recent mealie meal shortages in Zambia have raised questions on the country's food security, as the Ministry of Agriculture has been emphasizing that the country is 100% food secure. Recent weeks
have, however, seen more shops and chain stores running out of 25-kilogram bags of this commodity, despite it fetching at almost 200 kwacha and beyond 300 kwacha in some rural areas. This has left many queuing up for hours just to buy one bag of a 25-kilogram bag of mealie meal. Amidst this, some have been caught smuggling this commodity for sale in neighboring countries. The opposition leadership movement party say they have been following these happenings keenly, noting that this situation calls for the declaration of hunger in the nation as a national disaster. Party President Richard Silumbe was addressing the media Saturday morning.
We expect you now to declare this country as a poverty-stricken country and start moving, because when you realize that you are going to put contingent measures to ensure that Zambians are rescued. But what are we seeing today? What we are seeing are lightweight programs, malnourished ideas about dealing with a crisis, such as putting ZNS in the borders, warning farmers not to sell their produce outside the country. That will not help us, because we expect the New Dawn government to go on the ground, put ZNS into action. Let us have winter maize. Let us start producing.
Meanwhile, Leadership Movement Party Secretary General Jairus Ngoma has also given his view.
We need to be working now, because those rivers, the rivers we have, we'll be using them as a way to go into killing this problem. To talk of food, we'll go into a winter maize, and the electricity will be available, and we can be exporting this facility or this commodity to the neighboring countries. What are you doing? You are conquering now. You cannot be giving surnames. Mungaleko na land ya land vampasana ma surname ati ndimwe ma squatters. Apa manje ni business foot. Another surname. No, you are smugglers.
They have further urged President Hakainde Hichilema to engage countries like Russia for cheaper deals on fuel, which is central to the cost of living, stating that Zambia is an independent country and should therefore be free to engage with all countries, despite some being in conflict with each other. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka. So that is the prevailing situation in the country. What is your take on mealie meal? Have you had to line up just to get this commodity? We've heard that in some borders it is selling now for as high as 350 kwacha. What is your take on the current mealie meal crisis in the country? Miriam, your take on the story that we just played?
Well, Zipporah, we have seen that since late last year, we did see the Leadership Movement Party, just like other opposition political parties, coming on board, condemning the current administration on the situation of mealie meal and calling upon them to urgently address this situation. But one quite interesting article that I'm looking at on Facebook, where one of the area member of parliament, Adson Maveta, wrote on his page, let me just quote it. He says, should Zambia import mealie meal from South Africa just for the next 60 days to export it into Congo to stabilize mealie meal price in Zambia and keep the Congo market?
Miriam, I think we do have a caller.
Anyway, let's get that caller.
We'll digest on that,
yeah,
but
exactly.
Let's just take a look at what the caller has to say. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
You're through to the Camnet Breakfast Show. Can you tell us your name, where you're calling us from, and your contribution?
Madam, I think this is problem of lots of millennium in Zambia is tax-wise. What is happening, the suppliers, you see, when you go to economic issues, when there's a high demand, then a low supply, then those people who are selling, they escalate even the prices. So we need the government to work on it, the suppliers. When there's a lot of supply at the market, then even the minimum prices will reduce. So they are holding on it. Then low supply, when there's a demand at the market, it's just every person needs to have minimum. But that's why now suffering. The government has to come up with the strategies on how to reduce the minimum prices at the market. If you go country-wide, there's a lot of measures the shade, but I'm trying to connect it to suppress the risk to the mirrors. What is happening now to tell again? This is Mr. Black calling from Chirundu.
It's good to know that Chirundu is watching. Thank you very much for that contribution. Mira, maybe your take on what our caller there states.
Well, it's in line with this article that I'm looking at Zipper on Facebook of Honorable Adson. Quite interesting. We have seen some suppliers, holding on to the maize, and others are exporting.
What could be causing that? Are they hoping for a higher price?
Exactly. You take
so
advantage.
The shortage is artificial.
Sometimes you take advantage of the situation to make more money. That's how business works.
That should be, arrestable. That
anyway,
be,
let me just read this. It says, in order to overcome this challenge, the government of Zambia decided to completely shut down the export of mealie meal into Congo. Hence, traders in Congo started importing mealie meal from Mozambique, South Africa, and South Africa. After the United Party formed government in 2021, Zambia had a lot of maize beyond its storage capacity, which was at risk of going to waste. Hence, decided to renegotiate with the president of Congo to allow Zambia millers to export 800,000 metric tons of mealie meal into Congo. Between November 2021 and May 2022, Copperbelt did not experience any challenge of mealie meal shortage, as commercial farmers were able to sell their maize on higher price to millers who were exporting mealie meal to Congo. Due to the consistency in the supply of mealie meal into Congo by millers, traders in Congo stopped completely the importing of mealie meal from Mozambique, South Africa, hence pushing the demand of mealie meal beyond 800,000 metric tons. Quite interesting, Zippo. Yeah, so this issue is, I don't know how best, government can really address this situation at the moment, because the shortage of mealie meal, it's countrywide and everyone is affected. And we have seen government calling upon other people, to find other alternative staple food that we can replace with mealie meal.
And Zambians don't like hearing that.
Don't, but this is a good thing. There's need for crop rotation of this food. Zipporah, even in your house, you can't be eating the same meal over and over and over again.
I can, Miriam, but anyway, no, we do need diversity for, nutrition. Just now we take a short break as we get joined by our guest, the Safada director, to help us, discuss the topic in a very brief moment. Let's take a break.
Lakini tuliposhe bana fia sasa. Ushe umwana nanyina. Ingana babutuluka. Uwinge bo munangu atika sambe nani. Mwe ipisha ina. Ipisha abo muikere nabo.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Thank you so much for still staying tuned to the Camnet TV Breakfast Show. And in studio this morning to help us discuss our topic of discussion, where we are looking at the cost of mealie meal in Zambia, we have been joined by Small Scale Farmers Development Agency SAFADA Director Mr. Boyd Mombwe, who is going to help us, discuss in details this situation and how best can government address the situation at hand. Good morning and welcome to the Camnet TV Breakfast Show.
Good morning. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Good morning. Good morning.
Now, talking about the current situation that we are facing as a country, talking about the shortage of mealie meal, the high price of mealie meal, where have we gone wrong as a country? This will be my first question.
Yeah, it's quite a good question. Yeah, though a bit complex.
Mm-hmm.
Why I'm saying this because, where staple food is concerned, we have to consider a number of factors. First and foremost, we have to understand that farming is business, okay? And our farmers depend on farming for their living in terms of income and also food security. Yeah. Now, asking me where we go wrong, say something different, but I think it's just a question of policy. Yeah, policy and also programs that are set to ensure that there is consistent production in the country in terms of food production. There is a proper coordination in the system. Yeah, because as farmer organization, what we understand, what we know about our farmers produce grain or crops in order to sell and also for their own also food security. Now the problem is our farmers are facing a lot of challenges to actually make it to the level required. Technocrats or rather agricultural experts they say that a farmer should produce 10 tons per hectare. Okay, if you have ever done some farming, you buy a bag of seed, they will tell you, okay, 1 hectare you have to produce 10 tons. Yeah. So we find that our farmers are not able to produce that much. It's between 1.5 and 2 tons per hectare. Meaning that already that's a drawback, it's a loss. Yeah, because within that 2 tons per hectare, the farmer will need to keep something for himself and sell something, of course, for the market. Yeah. Now we find it a bit tricky, a bit difficult because okay, we are facing these challenges of food shortages, high pricing, because of some factors which are not well addressed. Okay, I'm sure I've heard in the past some situations where farmers have produced enough, they have done well, and maize in the storages, but the responsible people, that okay, FRA to be open, maybe FRA is not able to correct all the food stuff, all the grain in the storages, in the storages on time, and you find that the grain will be stuck there in the storages until when the rains comes and we find that there are losses. The grain goes to waste, and the other thing is which is affecting agriculture or rather farming to produce enough food for the country is the process, the procurement and distribution of farm inputs. Immediately you make a mistake, you don't bring farmers on time, meaning that already it's a step behind. Farmers will not make it to produce what is required because you find that maybe the maize is at a certain stage, there's no urea, there's no G compound. That crop won't grow well, that the yield will be bad. So there are a number of factors that are really affecting food production. Yeah, but then again, out of farming, we come to trade. I think we have heard normally usually every day the government is complaining about smuggling, people smuggling and so on. You know, they're smuggling maize and they're also smuggling meal. You see, that way you cannot maintain the national food security because it's going out. So this is the reason why I say it's a question of policy. How firm are the policies? You know, how is the government really putting measures to protect unfair or an illegal practice, illegal marketing aspect, processes where probably goods from the country go to another country without notice, without the government knowing. Okay? So everything must be legalized, everything must have a proper channel where things are done properly. That will at least reduce the risks or challenges probably of facing food insecurity in the country. But the way it is now, I tell you, it's quite pathetic, it's quite dangerous because if anything, the government does not put up proper measures, this situation will continue where people are lacking food. We are talking about meal, and the price will always shoot, okay, because it's going out carelessly. I don't know the way to say that. You know, there is no control. So, in short, what I would say is the government should put strict measures, and when they put up strict measures, they put good regulations that should maintain the food, national food security. There must be a transparency, you know, whereby government is not in, when we talk about government, we are talking about the leadership is not in any way or other ways involved in direct or indirect, you know, allowing food or grain going out of the country illegal. You know, you know, sometimes people in Zambia respect the leadership and they fear leadership. They want to maintain that cordial relationship with the leaders. You know, but sometimes you hear funny stories. Say no, maybe this one, maybe the staff from the Ministry of Agriculture, or you know, big people that are involved.
Okay, we have a caller, Mr. Mube. So just hold your thoughts. We'll continue after this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
We are fine, thank you. Kindly tell us your name, where you're calling us from, and your contribution in under 2 minutes.
Yes, I'm calling you from Livingston.
It's good to know that Livingston is watching.
Yeah. You see, all those stories the Safada man is talking about, that's not the solution. The solution, one-time solution, is to stop exporting meal and maize as of now. Simple. When they stop the issue of exporting meal and maize, any other link to that trade of export of meal and maize, it will stop. What people have done is they have looked at the loopholes, the leakages of this so-called export of maize and meal. That's why they have gone into the so-called smuggling and so on. So the best is let them stop exporting meal and maize as of now. And for my own information, Mr. Padaman, you must know that me, I am not even benefiting from the export of this meal and maize. I'm not benefiting. Even you, the border, you are not benefiting from this. These are the realities on the ground. There is no one in the compound who is benefiting from the export of maize and milk. The ones who are benefiting from this are those who know the paperwork, the ministry, the secretaries, and other people. Those are the people that are benefiting. And ordinary Zambia is not benefiting. Please, let's talk about solutions, please. We have put a solution. Let's talk about solutions. Not one hectare, what. No! That's not the solution, my brother. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much for that contribution. Quite interesting. What are your thoughts on that, Mr.
Yeah, in fact, I was coming to that. Yeah, because I remember at one time, it was during a workshop we attended as a part at Morobush International Conference Center, where the minister came out clearly to ensure, tell the nation to say that the current government will never cross borders. Okay, meaning that traders will be allowed to export agriculture outputs, produce, anytime, anyhow. You see, that alone, I concur with the speaker, the first speaker, the guest, the one who has just made the comment. I really agree with him. I was about to say that after my initial comment, that government needs to relook and we think on how best they can control exports. Okay, because export is actually affecting national food security. Because
we have another caller, Mr. Mobe. Today, you seem to be in trouble.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, ma. How are you?
We are fine, thank you, sir. Who are we talking to?
This is Mr. Mpepesha.
It's good to know that you are watching us, sir, this morning. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, my contribution is, you know, when we voted into power, they said everything will change. Now it's like we are coming back to Kaunda now, where building is gone up, everything is gone up, people are suffering. This is not the government to vote to. They promised us to change everything. But we are coming back into Kaunda. Eh? I remember Kaunda before he died, I remember when I was 15 there. He said that if you are going to vote UPND, you have problems. And these are the problems now we are seeing. Because things are not changing. You are complaining all over, no jobs, no what. But they promised us, say, no, when we come into power, we are going to have jobs, we are going to do what? People who are benefiting, they are the UPND themselves. They are not thinking of poor Indians, they are not thinking of anything. You see, so if you can advise the government to do much better, because Spencer Street is just near the corner, they should not relax. They should change, they should sit. They say they will sit. Let them sit now. This is the time for them to sit. Living is gone up. People are not affording to buy. You see that they are saying, no, medicine is there, they are what. But people, they are not saying what they are saying, but them are saying. And even saying, no, Zambian should start eating raw meal. But they are eating nice food. They want us now to start eating raw meal. Why not the breakfast? So this is what I'm trying to say for now.
Thank you so much for your contribution, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
Maybe you can finish your earlier thought and also
and respond to the call as well.
Yeah, you see, the earlier caller talked about exports, and for sure, I think as a farm organization, the government should try to look into this issue very seriously, because, like he said, in most cases, when we talk of exports, our small-scale farmers are not penetrating entry. Okay, we always expect that if the door are open for exports, farmers will have a good return. They are going to have a good price, but it's never that. It's never like that. In most cases, those people who are buying our produce, they always want to suppress us as farmers. They want to buy at a cheaper price and then go and sell their products at a very high price. They get a lot of money. You see. So
we do have. Okay, you can finish, but we do have another caller. You can finish.
Yeah. So then the second caller is talking about the leadership, the party, and so on, what they promised and so on. I think I have no time to talk about the party. I'm not a politician, but economically we have to look at how best we can maintain national and household food security. We should not forget that farming is business, okay? And we have the rules and the regulations in business. we are talking about the supply and demand. Okay, so if we produce less, automatically the price will rise, the price will shoot, and if you produce more, meaning that the price will come down, to stabilize somehow. Yeah, but now this question of shortages that we are facing in this country, we just need to press on government to tell us the truth, because they come out on radios, on TV to say we are food secure in Zambia. We have sufficient stock in the country that will feed the nation. We won't experience hunger. But people are complaining there's hunger in the country.
Yeah.
You see? So it's the government to tell us the truth, especially the Minister of Agriculture.
Anyway, let's speak up. Let's get this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to know that Chingola is watching us. Under a minute, please tell us your name and where your contribution.
Yes, my name is Chingola. The Minister of Agriculture not making a contribution to order. That other business, because we don't want to do, because the food that we got. You have
Thank you so much. Basically, everyone almost have all the views of complaining that the situation is not nice. But anyway, my other question is, looking at the prevailing situation, can we say, are we food secure as a country in Zambia? We have heard government giving a statement, the statement that we're food secured. But looking at the current situation, this prevailing situation, can we say we are food secure?
I think we cannot conclude to say we are food secure because of what transpired, or what we have faced as farmers. I think we are all aware that in most parts of the country, strategic areas, farming areas, that have experienced floods and the crops were destroyed. Besides that, some areas did not receive the inputs on time, you see. So the other thing, some areas have faced droughts, like in Livingstone. I was hearing some farmers complaining about drought. So it's something which is quite complex, and that's why I'm saying government just need to come out very clearly and very open to say, okay, this is our status, and what we need to do is ABCD, give a leeway to the nation of what exactly can be done to sort out this problem. Because as far as we know, or probably I would say from our point of view, if the government will not put up any measures to settle this matter, to address the price of meal, this shortage, it will lead to some extent where probably we will have disorder in the country. You know, because we're talking about the meal, maize in particular, as a staple food. Okay, so we just need to see how we can help government. We should work with the government to see how best we can transform the agriculture sector to become more productive and produce more increased products, increased farm produce, so that we stabilize our national food security. But then the mistake that we make as Zambians, we have always maintained to say, if we talk about food security, we are talking about maize. Just a big mistake. You see. So food is about whatever is coming out from the farm. Pumpkins, of course maize, soybeans, and so on. Okay. Then how do we change our living style? How do we see our people change their mindset, so that we can address this issue amicably and together as a nation, other than just expecting government to sort out this problem, because it won't end. And don't forget that normally during this period, let's talk December up to somewhere March, there's this problem, shortage of food, okay, because the grain is still in the field, and whatever was bought was stocked for reserve. It is almost finishing, okay, and government is very careful. It cannot just release everything to the market and it remains empty. That means to be a very bad government. So they have to strategize on how they supply the grain to the millers or on the market. You see, so that you don't have a serious shortfall of meal in the country. So the problem is, I would say, on the other hand, as Zambians, we are not fair to ourselves. Okay, I don't understand how and why you as a parent, or both of us, who have children, and we have raised food for the home, for the house, right? And then children start stealing, from the bin where you put meal or where you put your beans, whatever. They start stealing and they give out to neighbors. This is what Zambians are doing. So we are talking about smuggling. You see, how can you smuggle something which belongs to you? You smuggle, you take it to other countries just for a coin, or maybe have better cash. It doesn't make sense. It's even when you have a lot of cash, still when you come back to Zambia and you want to buy meal in case you don't have hunger. You see. So I think we just need to be realistic and think twice as to how, as a nation, we should build our status, our social and economic status. Because once we have hunger in the country, I tell you, to be very dangerous. Nyumba yanja iman kind of problems. Anything can happen. Young boys will be thieves. Young girls will be prostitutes. There will be a lot of things happening. So the same with the country. I think government should put up strict measures to ensure that there is no grain that is going out without the government knowing. Okay, and the government should also think about the export policy. At one time, I remember I discussed this somewhere. I thought probably we suggested that if government can come up with a plan, a framework, a time chart, where they would agree, the government should agree to say, okay, this period we have to allow export. This period we should not allow export. For instance, we are talking about from November to somewhere March, probably March, I would say, because March everyone will be chewing some cobs of maize. The government can say, no, there's no export during this period. Now from April to September or October, somewhere there, government can say, no, anyone who wants to export can export, because during that time we have plenty of food. And people are selling maize, people are selling anything from the farm. You see, so we just need to consider how we can settle this matter amicably, as I said, professionally, and also considering that, like I said, it's a family's business. We should not someone suppress agriculture. Yeah.
Quite interesting. Maybe in under a minute, what are some of your concluding remarks?
Yeah, concluding remarks. I think let me appeal to government, the Minister of Agriculture in particular, to not to take things for granted. When they talk to us on media, they should not give an impression that we are secure, the country is food secure. let the government at least strategically talk about what is happening so that people can understand, the stakeholders can help on how best we can settle this program, because otherwise in the near future, if such things continue, government will be forced to import maize from other countries. Like the other callers say, we are going back to Kaunda era, where we start importing food. Let's see the government put up proper policies and programs that will enhance and promote farming, agriculture production. The farmers should be assisted, okay? And then the other thing, government should address the issue of the cost of production. I think why sometimes, in some cases, the milk price is raising is because of the cost of production is quite high. So that also affects, okay? Then finally, in order to address some of these issues, like maybe in terms of production, to lower the cost of production, as a father, we are trying to introduce a product that will help farmers to produce enough food, enough stock for the country by using alternative measures to grow their crops. We have got Agasol. Agasol is a crop growth stimulator. It's just like fertilizer. Scientifically, I think government and other stakeholders should tell the farmers what is G compound, what is urea. They are all crop growth stimulators, because naturally a crop should grow without any second-hand support. What I mean is like fertilizer. You see, look at grass. The grass is growing without fertilizer. It's green and so on. Why our crops? Because they have been tailored to commercial. It's commercial. They want to make money. So for us to grow maize, we have to buy fertilizer. But let's see how best we can address this issue. Farmers should not solely depend on G and urea. There is a way we can do our farming. We are talking about friendly farming practice. When you talk of friendly farming practice or resilient farming practice, we are talking about how best we can maintain our soils, we can produce health foods that can also keep our bodies healthy without problems. And also, finally, I can say, I think it's high time that people of Zambia look outside the box. Let's not depend on Shima, okay? Let's try to see how best we can also maybe have rice as a staple food, or maybe sorghum. You see, I understand the government is trying to push a project where farmers will be engaged into sorghum production. Okay, let's see how that can happen so that we don't see these issues happening.
Quite interesting. I hope people will be able to change their minds, because getting the advice of changing or shifting from having milling to rice and stuff like that, hey, it's been an issue.
We're also refusing here. But okay, maybe the younger generation, maybe if you start with babies, but for people who are accustomed anyway.
You're accustomed, you're used to that thing.
It's your signature as a country.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure like with some sensitization, we can get in the right direction.
Exactly. Anyway, this is where we come to the end of our program this morning. We're looking at the cost of milling meal in the country. And in studio, we were joined by Small Scale Farmers Development Agency Director, Mr. Boyd Mombo, who is helping us discuss our topic this morning. For me, Miriam Kaimba, and my colleague Zipram Shala, it's bye-bye and see you next week.